Folks, please listen to this. This will explain why I feel the way I feel. Why I believe that the left wants total control over our lives. This article, it's an essay from the New York Times that explains it perfectly. And if they get away with it, we're in trouble. We'll eventually end up getting our money distributed to us from the government. We'll be rationed the groceries from the government. You watch. We'll become a totalitarian country. Just listen to some of this. A guest essay in the New York Times claimed, this is from Fox News, by the way. Yeah, I know. Oh, Fox News, everybody's all quit watching Fox News, there's nothing but fake news. Well, this is from a New York Times writer. A guest essay in the New York Times claimed Monday that Southern Americans would continue to die unnecessary deaths from the corona pandemic, natural disasters, self-administered abortions, and gun violence because of Republicans' continued focus on freedom. Like, she is, well, I don't know if it's a she or a he. Margaret, yeah, it's a she. So she essentially in the first sentence is saying freedom is dangerous and it'll kill people. In the essay, liberal columnist Margaret Wrinkle argued that Southern Republican leaders responded to those issues with disinterest and disinformation. In the name of freedom, should no longer be entrusted with matters pertaining them, and that the federal government should be the ones to protect the public by passing laws to address them. Let me read that again. Southern Republican leaders responded to those issues with disinterest and disinformation in the name of freedom, should no longer be entrusted with matters pertaining them, and that the federal government should be the ones to protect the public by passing laws to address them. This is exactly what they want. They want a one-party system that controls everything. And she's just saying those things out loud. She's just proving it. Every single one of these disasters is at its heart a public health emergency. And I've said this and said this and said this. They've used this pandemic to create a public health emergency or a public health crisis. Well, there's already articles out there that some cities are claiming that racism is a public health crisis. Some people are already out there claiming that gun violence is a public health crisis. So now, to get control of everything in our lives, everything's going to become a public health crisis. That's what they're using that. That's why I particularly am fighting not wearing a mask and not getting vaccinated. If you want to get vaccinated and you want to get wear a mask, then you go ahead. That's fine. That's fine. But don't tell me I'm killing others because I don't want to. I'm trying to fight for freedom. Because these people don't want us to have freedom. They want to control what we eat. They want to control what we learn. They want to control our medical decisions. No, America was not built on that. And we should not give it up either. But by capitulating to the mask and capitulating to the vaccines. Next, it'll be capitulating to this. Oh, well, it's for the good of everyone. Well, why don't you do a Google search on the common good or the collective good? It is used by communist dictator nations. That's how they get by with it. It's good for everyone. It's for the common good. I'm doing this for your good. It's ridiculous. Where am I at? Every single one of these disasters is, at its heart, a public health emergency. And in every case, our leaders have responded with disinterest and disinformation at best. In many cases, they have worsened the emergency in every way imaginable. Yeah, because we support the Second Amendment, we're making it more dangerous. Okay. Because we want to save babies' lives, we're making it more dangerous. Okay. Specifically talking about Southern Republican leaders. Instead of taking concrete measures to limit climate change, they send up prayers for rescue workers. Instead of making it possible for poor women to get quality medical care, they limit reproductive options for everyone. Okay, climate change. People, the climate changes. You have some years where, since she's talking about the Southern Republican leaders and not being concerned with climate change, then hurricanes. Some years, all throughout history, some years we've had bad hurricane seasons. We've had bad hurricanes. Some years we've had a very light season of hurricanes. That's the climate. And God did not create this earth and us for us to destroy it. We are not destroying this earth. Quality medical care. Here we go. They want total control over our medical care. And reproductive options. Here's your options. You either go full term and have the baby, or you take birth control. You get raped or you have incest, then go as soon as you can to find out if you're pregnant. And if it's before 6 weeks, get an abortion if you're raped. If you've had an sexual encounter with a family member, go as many times as you need to before the 6 weeks to find out if you're pregnant. Then have an abortion. But other than that, and the Hippocratic Oath of doctors, do no harm to anyone. Why don't they try to save both the mother and the baby? As much medical technology as we have, they both should be saved. And that has happened many, 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 many times. She added, instead of espousing common sense gun laws that keep citizens safe, no, that don't keep citizens safe. That endangers the people because we cannot protect ourselves anymore, because they will not allow us to have guns to protect ourselves. They ally themselves with the gun lobby. Instead of trying to keep people safe during this pandemic, our leaders offer ludicrous platitudes on the subject of freedom. That's right, because it is nothing but leading us to total control. They are brainwashing this society to think that they are the only ones that can save this. can save us. We don't have the personal responsibility or sense enough to survive, take care of ourselves. Wrinkle said that when it comes to the matter of freedom, freedom from death would be at the top of anybody's priority list. She then criticized specific Republican politicians by name. Yes, we have a freedom from death. Very good point. So, if I don't want to die from a shooting, I'm going to buy a gun and protect myself. If I don't want to die of the pandemic, I'll take reasonable crisis management decisions and live my life. If I want to be free from death, and what was these other things she listed? From coronavirus, natural disasters. I don't know of anybody that can save themselves from natural disasters because climate change laws aren't going to do it. No matter where you live in this world, you're going to have natural disasters. So, hey, you got to die of something. Somewhere, sometime. Your time's your time. So, freedom from death from natural disasters is, and, okay, if they think we're causing climate change and making these natural disasters worse, why are they calling them natural disasters? That just dawned on me. Why is it that natural disasters are still called natural disasters? They need to be called man-made disasters. We name them after people. Here comes Hurricane Harvey. Man-made. Because we're not changing the climate. Self-administered abortions, that doesn't affect me. Sorry, I know. And gun violence. I've already addressed that. If I want to protect myself or have the freedom from death, then I'm going to buy a gun and I'm going to protect myself. So, okay. Okay, she started naming politicians by name. In the reference to her statement that people want freedom from death, she first asked readers to ignore Republican Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves' suggestion that Southern Christians weren't worried about dying, seemingly referring to his August statement that Christians were less scared of the coronavirus because of their belief in eternal life. Yes, we believe in eternal life. So what if I die of the coronavirus? Woo, I'll be in heaven with God because I have given my life to Jesus Christ and asked him for the forgiveness of my sins. And I believe in my heart and I've confessed with my mouth that Jesus is Lord. That's, number one, how you get eternal life. And number two, I have that assurance after I make those pledges. So whether I die in a natural disaster, whether I die in a gun battle, whether I die from a disease, I have eternal life where there'll be no more tears, no more pain, nothing but happiness, nothing but me praising the Lord all the rest of my eternity. So, yes, I say yes, 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 and yes to Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves. Rand Paul, the senator from Kentucky, is more interested in investigating the COVID treatment benefits from a horse dewormer, which is partially true. It is also FDA approved for humans. Then getting his constituents vaccinated. She claims, seemingly referring to Paul's recent statements, that couldn't say if ivermectin, a parasite-fighting medication that can also be sold over the counter as a veterinary drug, would be as good a drug to fight the coronavirus because they are they're unwilling to objectively study it. It's true. You know, the people on the left complain and campaign on big pharma and how they are nothing but greedy, money hungry, grossness of the earth, because it's not about helping people, it's all about the money, big corporations. But yet they're allowing big pharma to make billions off of this coronavirus vaccine when we could have two very low cost medicines that could help with the coronavirus: hydrochloroquine and ivermectin. But they are standing up for the big pharma and saying that their vaccine is the only way to go. Rinke slammed Republican Tennessee Governor Bill Lee for, according to her, not authorizing days off for school due to coronavirus outbreaks, as well as not allowing school systems to pivot to online learning despite record hospitalizations for adults and children across the state. Well, there has been a story in Memphis, Tennessee, about a doctor going to a TV station and saying that there's no room for anybody. They have had so many cases that the hospital's overflowing. So the local TV station went to every hospital in Memphis and found out that none of them are overfull. None of them are turning people away because they have no beds. So, are we having a record hospitalization? I don't know. Stories out there that 70% of poison control calls are from ivermectin overdoses. 70% of calls to the poison control are from ivermectin. Fact checked? No, only 2%. So, you have 100 people. The reports out there are 70 of them are overdosing on ivermectin. Truth? Only 2 out of those 100. It's ridiculous, people. What? How can we know what's true anymore? They say 600,000 people have died from the coronavirus or more. How do we know? How can we be sure? Despite these indisputable indicators of failed public policy, Mr. Lee has no intentions of reversing course. Most Southern Republicans don't either, and that's why Southerners will continue to die unnecessary deaths. If not from COVID, then from natural disasters or self-administered abortions or gun violence or any number of preventable tragedies, she wrote. Rinke praised some Southerners for working hard to make life better for everyone. There it is. The collective good. The common good. Very dictatorial ideology. But argued that some matters were too important to be entrusted to state governments anymore. Yep. Where state governments can no longer make the right decisions. So we need to centralize the government. We need to make a central government that'll make decisions for everybody. No more sovereignty in the state of Texas. No more sovereignty in the state of Indiana. No, it all be done under the... This is exactly what I've been warning about. This very article and this essay pushing that. We need to take health and public safety out of the hands of Republicans because this is not a game. No matter how often the people running things down here may behave as though it is, there are no winners in the national calamities tournament of 2021. Here in the South especially, there are only losers. So, concrete evidence that they want a one-party system, centralized government that will control every aspect of our lives. People, if you don't wake up and start listening, you're going to wake up with no freedom. You'll wake up with the centralized government knocking at your door, taking your guns. You'll have the centralized government knocking at your door, forcing you to take medicine or health care procedures you don't want to take. You'll have a centralized government teaching your children what you don't want them to be taught. And what I'm finding out, except for a handful, parents aren't caring anymore. It gives them 8 to 10 hours of freedom from their children, and they don't care. But that's another story. That's another video. So, I beg you, I'm just imploring you to open your eyes, start paying attention to what's going on around you, because things are going to get bad. Things are going to get bad.